Hello, Bixby Elementary students. It's Mr. Platis, your proud principal. And I am so excited to bring you a read aloud, courtesy of our PTA's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion plus Belonging Committee. Today's story is titled Ling in China City. It's based on a true story, and I'll read you a little bit about it, then we'll get into the story. Based on a true story of events during World War II in Los Angeles, China City, a 12-year-old Chinese American girl named Ling is separated from her best friend Yayeko when she and her family were interned in the Manzanar War Relocation Center. By writing letters to each other, both young girls recount their painful separation and their lives in China City and Manzanar. Let's get into the book. It's the title page, Ling in China City. It's written by I.C. Smith and illustrated by Gail Garner-Roski. It has been 3 years since we moved to Los Angeles, Chinatown from Oregon. Now we live in a small house on Alpine Street. My parents told me that the original Los Angeles Chinatown, called Old Chinatown, was demolished not long ago to build Union Station, the main train station in Los Angeles. In 1938, thousands of Chinese Americans were forced to relocate to other Chinese communities, and they were not treated very respectfully. Some moved to the area around City Market on 9th and San Pedro Streets, and some moved to the newly built China City and New Chinatown where we live. My family owns and runs a Chinese restaurant called Chung Dat Lu in China City, where I waitress after school almost every day. This year I am sad in school. I lost my best friend Yayeko Akima, who was sent to the Manzanar internment camp with her family. Last December 1941, after Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japan, the U.S. government forced thousands of Japanese Americans out of their homes and sent them to 10 different war relocation centers across the country. Rumors say that the U.S. government might use them as hostages against the Japanese invasion. I don't understand why the government is treating the Japanese Americans differently. Yayeko is American, like me. It is just because her ancestors were born in Japan. Most of the Japanese internees are U.S. citizens and didn't commit any crime against the country. Since she went away, we write letters to each other, but I wish I could see her in person. Here's one of those letters. July 15, 1942. Dear Ling, life is very difficult in this camp. I'm so bored. Manzanar is in a dry, windy desert with dust and sand everywhere. I wake up every morning with dust on my face. The Sierra Nevada mountains create a high wall behind our camp, and I can see snow up there. The camp has a 4-mile barbed wire fence around it with armed guards. There are guards in 8 high watchtowers with their guns pointing inward toward us. We live in a crowded military-style barrack, eat in noisy mess halls with everyone else, and share the same latrine and shower rooms. There's no privacy at all, and I heard a few schools will be opened up here soon, but none have opened yet. I hope I don't get too far behind, but school will not be fun without you. I miss you and the good times we had. Did you make any new friends? Write to me soon. Love, Yayeko Akiyama, Manzanar, California. And that's an actual letter that was written. It's based on a true story. And there's Manzanar right there. And the Sierra Nevada mountains behind. Mom says the Moon Festival celebration is tomorrow, and I want you to wear your silk dress. Only traditional Chinese clothes tomorrow, dear. I go to my closet and pull out my long red silk dress with yellow flowers hand embroidered on it. The last time I wore this was with Yayeko during the Chinese New Year festival last year. I try it on, and it still fits me perfectly. But I am growing, and this is likely the last time I will wear it. I remember last year walking down the street with my grandmother, who has bound feet, holding on to my arm. I'm so happy that I was not born in China, where many girls and women's feet were forced into shoes about 3 inches long called lotus shoes. My grandmother told me that in the upper classes in China, foot binding usually began when a girl was 3 years old. A good marriage would be impossible to arrange if the girl had big feet. Today we go to the restaurant early in preparation for the big crowd coming to China City. My dad is the main chef of our restaurant and is preparing the many ingredients for our most popular dishes, such as egg foo young, cashew nut chicken chop suey, and fried rice. They're Chinese American dishes, not really Chinese food, but it still tastes good to me. Mei Ling, go to Mr. Ling's gift shop to buy more lanterns. We need to get this place decorated properly, Pa yells to me. And get a dozen more mooncakes, too. Getting ready for the big Chinese Lunar New Year party. I walk up the staircase to Lotus Pool Road, passing the Golden Phoenix restaurant, and stop by the Guan Yin Temple to visit Johnny Yi. He's a good friend of mine and always has something entertaining to say. As I enter the temple, I immediately smell the fragrant incense and hear the soft chanting made by the Buddhists praying there. Johnny, who is 17, 5 years older than me, is wearing his long black Chinese robe. This is not his normal outfit, but he says that's what the tourists like to see. He is selling a fortune-telling stick and incense to passers-by. That'll be 7 cents, please. The altar table is decorated with fruits, flowers, roast pig, mooncake, and tea. So, of course, February is the Chinese Lunar New Year, and this book is making that connection too. Good morning, Johnny. Are you going to perform the lion dance in the parade today? I ask. Yep, of course. Our troupe can't perform without me, Johnny smiles. How about you? You look nice today in your silk dress. Are you working for Mr. Gubbins today? Mr. Gubbins is an actor's agent for Asian American talent and has an office and film studio in China City. He specializes in hiring Chinese actors and extras for Hollywood movies. Many people from the neighborhood are recruited to act in movie productions. That is why China City is named the Chinese Movie Land. Not today. I'm busy helping out the restaurant. And in fact, I have to get some lanterns right away. I'll see you later today in the parade, I replied. I run into the Golden Lantern gift shop and buy dozens of paper lanterns, then to the Chekiang importers for mooncakes. On my way back, I pass through the court of lotus pools and see my friends Ruby, Francis, and Doris. They are holding American flags and have a tin box with the words United China Relief Fundraiser on it. They are collecting money for the people in China suffering because of the war. Hi, Mei Ling. Would you like to join us in our fundraising drive today? We're selling Chinese opera tickets and American flags. The top seller will win a $100 Chinese banquet gift certificate and a Chinese silk jacket. Ruby tells me, we are selling the opera tickets and flags for $1 each. The money raised will help the women and children in refugee camps in China. Oh, if you like, I can try to sell the tickets and flags at my parents' restaurant today, I replied. Great, says Ruby, as she hands over the flags and another tin box. In my mind, I hope that the war will end soon so we can reconnect with our family in China and our Japanese American friends here in the U.S. I hope the sick and displaced Chinese families in China will not suffer anymore. I want to see Ayeko and others come home. Back in my restaurant, I help Papa and Mom decorate the lanterns. Very soon, thousands of Southern Californians arrive in China City and gather at the Court of Four Seasons. The Lion Dance Parade and firecrackers kick off the Moon Festival celebration. Some ride the traditional rickshaw for 25 cents. Others browse through the mysterious Chinese village with quaint bazaars, knick-knack stores, lotus pools, temples, and movie sets. Many support the war relief effort by buying American flags and tickets to see Mulan and the Chinese princess operas. In China City, it is interesting to see the traditional Chinese operas performed in English only because most of the audience do not speak Chinese. Our restaurant is overflowing with customers coming from all over town. I take advantage of the opportunity to sell the tickets and flags to our customers. After the busy lunchtime, Ruby comes in to my restaurant with a frown on her face. How much did you raise so far? Ruby asks. Richard, who works at China Burger restaurant, seems to be winning the race. He has raised more than $70. I heard he offers the donors a free cup of coffee with each ticket or flag sold. Well, I've sold about $55. I'll think about some ways to sell more, I say. I think to myself, winning the fundraising drive is important to me. Besides helping the war victims, I want to save my prize for Yayeko when she returns home. The weather is pretty hot today, and it gives me an idea. Hey, Ruby, I usually sell fresh squeezed orange juice for about 10 cents on the weekends. How about I give a free orange juice with each ticket or flag sold? Great idea. That's a perfect idea. I will help you squeeze the oranges, Ruby says with excitement. Since the busy lunchtime has passed, I have Mom's permission to make a fundraising booth just outside the restaurant, offering free, cold orange juice. The colorful Moon Festival activities draw thousands of people. In no time, our orange juice stand attracts a long line of thirsty visitors. One familiar face comes to our stand. Ruby and I stare at her for a moment, realizing it's Anna May Wong, who's a well-known actress. How much is the orange juice? Anna May Wong asks. We are raising money for the children refugees in China. The opera tickets and flags are $1 each. Would you like to buy some? I ask. Ruby just sits there, stunned. Anna May Wong is impressed with our kind thoughts. She reaches for her Mandarin purse and flips open her wallet. She pulls out her checkbook and writes her donation to the United China Relief Campaign. How many would you like? I ask. Just one ticket and a flag, please. After Anna May Wong leaves, Ruby and I look at the check with astonishment. It's for $300. And there again is another picture of Manzanar, which again was in World War II and relocated many, many Japanese Americans. There's a lot of history to learn about that, and I encourage you to learn about that challenging time. And here's a letter from Mei Ling, and it's to Yayeko. So with this letter, we'll conclude the story. August 7, 1942. Dear Yayeko, today in China City, we celebrated the Moon Festival and raised funds for the United China Relief Campaign. I think about refugees in war-torn countries. I think about you being trapped in that camp too. I was the top seller of the fundraising drive. My prizes all a $100 Chinese banquet gift certificate and a Chinese silk jacket. I'm saving the gift certificate for you, as food and clothing have become scarce these days. I miss you a lot. I hope the war will end soon, and I hope you will come home next Chinese New Year wearing your new Chinese silk jacket. Don't stop writing. Love, Mei Ling, China City. So not only is this book about a time of extreme challenge and difficulty, it also reminds me of the idea of hope. And I'm making that connection to the times that we're living in today. So even though it's challenging times right now, we are still holding out hope. And we're connecting with others, our friends, writing letters, maybe online. But just like in this wonderful story, we continue to have hope and stay connected to one another. Thank you so much. Be safe and healthy. We'll see you soon.